429 by Senator Taylor. And the chair will go ahead and move the bill. And Senator Wally will second. And I believe this is an amendment that makes the bill. So the chair will move the amendment, and Senator Wally will second it. You recognize Senator Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know the committee has run long, and I'm willing to take one for the team. If you'll allow me to present the bill, don't ask me any questions, vote yes, we'll be out of here. So,
you get points for brevity, so hurry up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill is about honest debate of a difficult issue in many of our communities. Many cities around the country are wading into the contentious issue of reparations. Cities like Detroit, St. Paul, Boston, St. Louis, Providence, Rhode Island, Asheville, North Carolina, and Berkeley, California have all waded into this very difficult issue. Now, our very own Shelby County has voted to spend $5 million to, and I quote, study, establish, develop, and administer reparations proposals that will provide compensatory benefits to descendants of individuals whose ancestors were enslaved. This bill, Mr. Chairman, as amended, will prevent Tennessee cities and counties from expending funds for the purpose of studying or dispersing reparations. While it can be an important issue for many, it is a very divisive issue, and it is an issue that cannot be resolved at the local level. And this vote today will not pass judgment on the issue of reparations. It simply says that any significant conversation involving reparations should be done at the federal level. And it should not be considered at our level of our cities and counties. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I would urge passage of SB 429.
Okay, do we have any questions for the bill sponsor? This is on the amendment, but any questions on the amendment from the bill, from the amendment sponsor?
And Mr. Chairman, just to be clear, the amendment actually should be, because there were two amendments.
Oh, there are two. I only have one. What's the other one? We have amendment here as 6528.
That's correct. That's the correct amendment.
Is there another amendment?
No, sir. That's
okay,
the correct
so it's just
amendment.
one amendment.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the amendment we're on. Any questions? Yes, Senator Yarborough.
What are we trying to solve here?
The issue we're trying to solve is to prevent Shelby County from spending $5 million of taxpayer money on an issue they can't resolve.
Just while, and I'll recognize you again. I do have one question while you're thinking, Senator Yarborough. Does this have statewide application, or is this a local bill? Or?
It will have statewide application. Okay. So this will be Senator Yarborough's opportunity. I know he feels like Nashville's been gigged lately. This is your opportunity to gig Shelby County.
Well, I mean, Mr. Chairman, that's exactly what I think we shouldn't be doing here again, right? Like, we're not supposed to just police everybody around here and like decide whether or not like each local government's doing what we want. And I also think, I understand part of the political thing he's talking about, but like not thinking about there are certain instances here when you could have very distinct claims where, the city municipal government itself took land, took property, caused injury to particular people and families that you can trace, that you can follow, that you're not in some sort of like big nebulous conversation about how does this whole thing work. But in the context of local governments, you can actually point to farms that were taken, families that lost freedoms, children that were lost. You can actually point to wealth that didn't accrue especially if you think about some of the smaller communities in rural West Tennessee. That is not hard history to actually start tracking down. And to say that we're not even going to let people think about that, we're not going to let them explore that, it just seems really heavy-handed and wrong.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think it's important to keep in mind that these local governments that are trying to get involved in reparations may actually be doing more harm to the people they're trying to help. Because if a family takes a settlement, reparation settlement from a local government, it could prohibit them from being able to participate in a larger reparations settlement if and when the federal government ever got around to taking that issue up. Just like in a class action lawsuit, if you reach a settlement outside the class action, you're not allowed then to participate in the class action. So this protects everyone involved. It protects local government. It protects the taxpayer in these counties and municipalities. And it also protects those who may ultimately be eligible for a reparation settlement from the federal government.
I'm just going to make one comment on it. And I always feel some disease at a doctor arguing with a lawyer about the law, just like a lawyer ought to feel disease talking about medicine with a doctor. But in this particular case, if there were a specific harm caused by a local government against an individual, I don't think this bill would have anything to do with it. It would be like if a police car ran into the side of a citizen in Memphis. This bill would not prevent the citizen from claiming damages. I think this is because it's more like a class action suit where no harm could really be proven. But that would be the way I looked at it. But I mean, I think if you had a specific incidence where the city or the county caused harm, that this would not preclude them. Like I said, if this afternoon or after this bill is passed, if a police car or a city dump truck or something, city garbage truck, ran into someone, this would not preclude the individual from claiming damages.
Yes, sir, I agree. And again, all this does is we're not passing judgment on the issue of reparations by voting for this bill. This simply says that it is not appropriate for local government, city and county, to wade into a national issue and spend taxpayer money on an issue that they can't resolve ultimately. Mm-hmm. And it's not fair to the taxpayer the single mom who lives in Memphis and is working 2 jobs to try to pay her property taxes, to see every bit of her property taxes go into an issue that the local government can't resolve. It may be an important issue, but they can't resolve it at that level.
Yeah, just to be fair to Senator Yarbrough here, do you want to, usually we have the bill sponsor closed. Do you want to make a closing statement before we move on?
I mean, I'll just comment on that briefly. There are instances where this is happening, where, I mean, I think if you look at, Georgia's had recent things where they have found distinct communities that are harmed by certain distinct state activities maybe there's no way that there's still an actionable tort that's subject to like a lawsuit claim. But yes, they are responding to historic and local injustices, which makes sense. And I've just never seen this body say, no, like we shouldn't let our towns and counties in Tennessee do this. We should trust this to the federal government. That's wild. That's sort of a first for me in here.
Okay. Unless I was told we may not have the amendment on the bill, so the chair moves it. Senator Wally or Senator Pody seconds it. Let's go ahead and put the amendment on. We still have time for further discussion. So all in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Opposed. So the amendment is now on the bill. I think Senator Wally wanted to comment.
Just a comment, and it's not inconsistent with some of what my friend from Davidson County says, but my approach to this is that identifying the victims, some of that can be done, but identifying the perpetrators to whom is going to be charged with the reparations, that's a more challenging issue to me. I spent some time, and I know my friend out in the gallery, Senator Bowling, did too in Alabama. Birmingham was probably one of, if not the most racist city that we saw during the civil rights movement. It didn't exist back during slavery. It was created after, that period of time. And so the complexity with deciding who owes whom that we can identify is, I think, something that's got to be more broadly considered. And my reason for feeling more comfort in supporting this bill is that I think it's probably an imprudent investment of taxpayer dollars at municipal levels, at county levels, where we have immediate needs of $5 million right now to be invested to take this on when it's a much broader conversation that may well deserve a full analysis and response. So that's, Mr. Chairman, that's why I wanted to say in my reason for supporting the bill.
I think Senator Lowe had a question or a comment.
Just a point of clarity, a lot of communities that have moved in this arena have moved not toward reparation, but moved towards community grant initiatives to fund some of the similar situations that have been outlined, like Evanston, Illinois, outside of Chicago did this. They set up community grants where they felt like maybe historically a particular community was disenfranchised. All that's still within the purview of local governments to do. This is specifically towards the initiative that Senator Taylor's out.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any further comments or questions? I don't see any. Senator Lowe, you ready for a vote? You wish to close? Not Senator Lowe, I'm sorry, Senator Taylor. I got Senator Lowe on the mind now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just appreciate a positive vote. Thank you.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Jackson? Aye. Senator Jackson votes aye. Senator Kyle? No. Senator Kyle votes no. Senator Lowe? Aye. Senator Lowe votes aye. Senator Pody? Aye. Senator Pody votes aye. Senator Stevens? Aye. Senator Stevens votes aye. Senator Wally?
Aye.
Senator Wally votes aye. Senator Yeager? Senator Yeager is not present. Senator Yarborough? No. Senator Yarborough votes no. Chairman Briggs?
Aye.
Chairman Briggs votes aye. Chairman, the ayes prevail.
So Senate Bill 429 moves to calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
We are